ANELLE and Jihoon, Part 2. ANELLE stood at the curb, suitcase by her side. A sleek black car pulled up, its tinted window rolling down to reveal a suited driver. "Miss ANELLE?" the man asked with a polite bow. She nodded, blinking in surprise. "Mr. Jihoon sent me to bring you," he said, stepping out to help with her luggage. As the car weaved through the streets of Seoul, ANELLE looked out the window, her heart pounding. But now, riding in a private car with her name on the driver's list, it all felt like something out of someone else's life. At that very moment, inside a tall, glass-paneled office building, Jihoon stood at his desk, speaking quietly to his assistant. "Find me a private language tutor," he said. "Preferably a kind older woman. Someone patient. Someone who understands what it means to start fresh." His assistant raised a brow but nodded. "For you?" Jihoon hesitated, then said, "No. For someone important." By the time ANELLE arrived, Jihoon had returned home and was waiting by the door. She stepped out of the car, overwhelmed, unsure of what to say, but he only nodded and offered a soft welcome. ANELLE followed him down the hall as he led her to a room at the end. "This will be your space," Jihoon said, pushing the door open. Her breath caught. It wasn't just a room, it was beautiful. Sunlight filtered through wide windows that opened onto a tiny balcony. "I saw you sketching in the park." "From the surveillance," Jihoon said gently. "I thought you might want to keep doing that." ANELLE turned to him. "Thank you. Really." He offered her a small smile and nodded toward the living room. "Come. There's someone I want you to meet." ANELLE stepped in, and that's when she saw him. Sion, a small boy with round cheeks and wide, thoughtful eyes, holding a stuffed whale in his arms. "This is Sion," Jihoon said softly. "My nephew." Sion looked at her, curious but quiet. ANELLE crouched gently, keeping her voice warm. "Hi, Sion. I'm ANELLE." He blinked, then hugged his whale tighter. "She's going to be staying with us," Jihoon said, watching them both. That evening, after a quiet dinner and a few shy smiles, Sion tugged ANELLE's hand and pulled her onto the couch. He curled up beside her, his head resting on her lap. "You're not going to leave, right?" he asked in a sleepy whisper. "No," she replied, brushing back his hair. "I'll be right here." Jihoon watched from the armchair nearby, arms folded, his heart warm with a quiet joy he hadn't felt in years. Hours passed and night fell over the city. Jihoon returned from the kitchen with 2 mugs of tea and handed one to her. She took it with a small smile. "I didn't know how much I needed this," ANELLE said after a moment. "This?" he asked. She nodded. "Peace. A chance to start again." He didn't answer right away. Instead, he looked at her, the way her hair framed her face, the way her fingers curled gently around the mug. "I think we both needed that," he finally said, his voice low. There was something tender in the silence between them. Not heavy, not rushed, just present. Jihoon felt the edges of himself soften, just sitting there. Her voice, her calm energy, the way she looked at him without expectation, it all made him feel seen. And ANELLE, she hadn't realized how much she missed this, talking to someone, being listened to, the gentle spark of being wanted, not just for what she could give, but for who she was. They sat there, the space between them slowly shrinking. She turned back to Jihoon and asked gently, "Can I ask, what happened to Sion's parents?" Jihoon looked down into his tea. His voice was soft, steady. "They died in a car accident. It's been almost a year." ANELLE's hands tightened around her mug. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I know how that feels." Jihoon tilted his head slightly, listening. "My parents died 3 months ago," she said, her voice cracking. "Both of them. I still hear their voices sometimes. I moved here to try and breathe again. But it's still heavy." Tears welled in her eyes. She looked away quickly, embarrassed. But Jihoon leaned forward, quiet and kind. He reached out and gently brushed a tear from her cheek with his thumb. "You don't have to hide your pain here," he said. ANELLE met his eyes, and for the first time in a long while, she didn't feel so alone. Late at night, Jihoon went to check on Sion, and he found the boy curled peacefully in ANELLE's bed. A gentle smile crept onto Jihoon's face. The next morning, Minji arrived unannounced at Jihoon's house. Over breakfast, he spoke with veiled malice about ANELLE's background, questioning her intentions and painting her as a distraction. Jihoon, calm but firm, shut him down with quiet authority. "Leave my house right now," he ordered him. You have no right to come to my home and question my decisions. Anelli has done nothing but bring peace into this home, he said, his voice protective. She's good for Cyan. And for me. Now let this sink in your mind. Min-jae, Jihoon's older stepbrother, had always kept a quiet eye on his younger siblings' affairs. But when he heard about the new nanny, he took action. From his office, he made a discreet call to Jihoon's ex-girlfriend Yura, the woman who had left Korea heartbroken after Jihoon refused to marry her. Yura had never told Jihoon she was pregnant. Thank you, Min-jae. I will be arriving tomorrow night. If you enjoyed this part, like, share, follow, and comment on ANELLE and Jihoon for part 3.